Alright, it's the 1st of March. Finally got warm enough in here that I could actually get the diesel fuel out and rinse that housing out. And I sprayed it out with brake clean. So we're going back together. I'm going to use my, I think Harbor Freight bearing drivers. I'm going to put the pinion races back in the front and get the preloads set on the pinion, and then I'll put the carrier in. So I'll bring you back. Alright, I'm ready to put the pinion in. This is the old crush washer. This is a new crush washer. And the idea is this goes down in here and it spaces this bearing. You crush that to the point where these bearings are sitting in there, and that gives you the proper load on these bearings, because you pull down that with the nut and you crush that to the point where you've got the proper load. What do I want to say? There's no end play, and there's no, I think they want 15 or 20 foot-pounds of torque to rotate this thing. The problem with that is these crush washers are one-time use. Once you crush it, it's done. And that's alright. If you get it too tight, well, then you got to either take it off and get another crush washer. I did some digging around and found out you can put a solid piece in there and use that, and all you have to do is shim it to the right load, so that it's kind of like a wheel bearing. You tighten the nut to the point where you got a little bit of drag on the spindle and you're good. Well, with this solid shim in there, it don't matter what you torque that to. That's going to keep the bearings in the proper dimension and give you your preload, and you can take it out and reuse it as many times as you want. I ordered that, or brought that at the local speed shop, because it's the same one for a 9-inch Ford rear end. So it's a crush washer elimination kit. So if that's what you want, apparently that was a problem. The nut would get loose and it would bang around and smash this crush washer more than you needed, and it'd give you more end play and wipe out the seal, and there you are. The solids, there's the instructions. Measure the used crush sleeve and add enough shims to the spacer to achieve the total length. And then they want you to check it. So we're going to put it together just the way we're going to use that. And I also beveled the inside of that just a tiny bit, because there's a real tiny bevel right there. So alright, we're going to put it together. Alright, well, it got cold outside and I got the torpedo heater running. So I closed the door, and I got an 8-foot mercury light, or not a mercury, but a shop light laying back here on the floor. Just so I got some light underneath this truck. But anyhow, it took me about 4 tries shimming that spacer and tightening this nut. This is the old nut, because the new nut's a lock nut, and once you use it, they say don't reuse it. So I've got it together now, and I used my inch-pound beam type torque wrench, and I've got like 20 inch-pounds of running torque on that. It's together. I don't have the seal in it, but now the next thing is I'm going to put the carrier in and the bearings on it, and we should be all right there because we're not changing anything. So that's the next step. The lighting's better back there anyhow. So all right, I'll bring you back here. Alright, well, I did say I torqued that pinion not to 160 foot-pounds, and that's when I got the 20 inch-pounds of running torque to turn that thing. And now we're ready to put the carrier back in. It's got shims on either side up against these flanges here, and then the caps go on, and I shouldn't have to reset that as long as I can get them in there. So alright, I'll bring you back. Alright, I torqued the carrier nuts and bolts there. I took them up to 95, the book says 80, but I took them up to 95 foot-pounds because it seemed like they were grade 8 heavy bolts and they weren't very tight. I don't know if you can see. It calls for 6 to 10 thousandths of backlash. I probably got 10. I'm not going to worry about it. It's a worn set of gears, and that's the way it is. I'm real happy the way it's set up. There's no side-to-side movement. There's just a little bit of backlash. Everything's nice and smooth. I'm going to get to putting this thing together. Now I got to break the yoke back off and put the seal in. So I'll bring you back. Alright, it got late the other night. I did get everything buttoned back up. I got the pumpkin cover back on. I got oil back in it. The oil there on the floor is, I turned the old bucket upside down on the bed of the truck to clean the bucket out, and it run right on the top of the back, or right down the back of the diff cover there, and dripped on the floor. So there's nothing leaking. I overfilled it so that the wheel bearings would get oil. See, there's my spill. And she should be ready to rumble. Let's take her for a ride. Way to start. Actually, that one says glow plugs, but there we go. I have been driving the F1 Sissy for the last 3 or 4 days while this thing was apart, so it'd certainly be a change to get this thing back together. my fingers out of the screen. Hello. Oh yeah, that's much better. There's a good reason why cover crops don't seem to work around here. I planted beans in that thing all July or August and they never seem to do much. They froze out. So, still standing there in water. No odd whining noises. Sounds pretty good. In fact, I'd have to say it's probably better than it ever has been. So, it'd be good to have this thing back on the road. All right, thanks for watching. There it is, idling. The choke's open. I had to change the carburetor. That other one, something was wrong with the idle passage. All right, let's shut her down. It ain't got no water in it. Oh, that was good. All right, we got a new clutch. This is the old one. This is the new one. Heavier springs, heavier center. It's solid around here. And that's where it come from. We'll see how this one works. Worst we do is tear the center out of them again.